Hi everybody, Stacy here. So happy to be back with y'all. I decided that I would redo these blooms here because these are some I did back when I was still testing out my methods and I didn't have it all the way I wanted it, and so I decided to redo them. And let's see, base 3. So I'm recording this. That's what we're gonna do, and I wanted to go over the recipe here again once and for all. The pillow here is Glidden Premium Semi-Gloss Base 1, and it has also got about that much GAC 800 mixed into this cup. So it's just like a smidge, you know, just a dash, just to prevent crazing. I sort of believe that paint is so good and works for this so well that you probably don't even need it, but I'm adding it anyway just to be sure, because crazing is such a horrific thing to have happen. I hate it, and I want to be sure it doesn't happen. And I've had my share with my other recipes. I had some trouble with that, so I don't want any more. The colors are made, all of these are made with paint as the tint, and you get the Glidden Premium Semi-Gloss Base 3 for the colors. And so what you do then is you take that untinted base, the base 3, and you mix 3 parts that to 1 part of the Craftnique Brite Tone varnish, or whatever varnish you want to use. You can use polycrylic as long as it's a high gloss. You can use the Josonnas gloss varnish. I've tried that. They both work okay, but the Brite Tone works, to me, the best. By far better. But, you know, if you want to do your own experimentation, go ahead. I've got tons of videos on all of them. And, you know, that's why I'm posting them, is so if people don't want to do all of that, they can kind of look and see and put, you know, my experience in with their own, and, you know, maybe save some time and headache. I think the Brite Tone, I think it's a little more expensive than the polycrylic is, not just like a whole lot, but I believe it to be worth it. And you only have 1 part of it to 3 parts of that other. So anyway, it lasts a good bit of while. And then, okay, so that's it. You got the premium, Glidden Premium for your pillow. You got the Glidden Premium, both semi-gloss, base 1 and base 3. Base 3 for the colors, base 1 for the pillow. Add a little GAC 800 to the pillow, and you're good to go. Then, another thing I have experimented a little bit with is putting a little bit of silicone in my colors, just like a little tiny bit. I haven't seen any ill effects from it. It makes cells in them just much the same way that it does when we use it in our regular pores. So I just thought, what the hell, why not? And so I've done that too. And I've got these colors I'm going to use today. I've got some mixed in it. You will have to thin your colors a little bit because all paint is different, and each color varies from manufacturer to manufacturer. And, you know, like, you know, for instance, I always find Liquitex's yellows to be really thick and heavy and need extra dilution. And they're orange. I find Master's Touch Black to be very liquid. That just depends, and it comes with practice and experience, getting used to those, you know, different paints. And, you know, if you use the same ones over and over, you get kind of used to it. But I thin those with just a little couple of squirts of distilled water. Use distilled water and only apply it a little bit at a time, just like with applying water to any paint. You know, if you give too much at a time, it's going to glom all up and be real hard to stir and go all over the place out of your cup and everything. So just a few drops at a time. I put it in a Windex bottle and spritz it, and that way I'm careful and I don't get you know, too much. But, you know, however you want to go about that. I wanted to go over what I had settled on with regard to this bloom thing, because I've got videos on different recipes and all that, and I wanted to kind of say for once and for all, here's the recipe that I think works best for me. And it's a combination of, I guess, what they teach in the course and what Jenn Neil has come up with, and I don't know. And then, you know, like I said, a little bit of the little kinks and twerks that I've added, like putting the silicone in the colors. And I torch mine. Not everybody is doing that, but I don't do it very much, but I do it a little bit because those air bubbles are still there, and even some of them that you can't see, so I do. And I haven't seen any ill effects from it. I haven't seen any ill effects from any of the weird things that I'm doing that nobody else is doing. Let me put it that way. So, you know, everybody needs... I believe in experimentation myself. I think practice and experimentation is the key to all of this. And consistency is huge with these. If your consistencies are not the same... my experience has been just completely goes to hell. I've had it, you know, the colors slide off faster than the pillow moves. I've had the pillow move faster than the colors. You name it, I've had it happen. And I believe that when that starts to happen, if it were to happen today, I'd just stop and start over, because it means something's wrong in the mix, and I haven't been able to correct it once it starts. But as far as I'm concerned, this recipe is almost foolproof. I have had no accidents, no problems, no little spots, no crazing, no splotchiness, no, you know, nothing. And I've had beautiful lacing, and, you know, you'll see. Anyway, so I'll shut up. But I have a friend, a very dear friend, that found one of my videos on Facebook, and I haven't seen him in years and years and years. And he has done my hair, used to do my hair from the time I was a little kid till when I was in law school. And then he moved away. And I had lost touch with him over the years. And somehow he stumbled upon my video. And he didn't know it was me that was making the video, because, you know, I don't show my face most of the time. And he commented and said, "I like what you're doing," or whatever. I recognized this name, which is pretty unusual. And I texted him back and I said, "Oh my gosh, it's you. I'm so-and-so. I'm so-and-so's daughter." And anyway, so it was a very remarkable coincidence, I thought. And he's been doing some experimenting with painting himself and using some house paints and stuff. And so I wanted to do a bloom for him. So maybe he would be able to get something out of it. And put it with what he's already doing or whatever. He's relatively new to pour painting, and so anyway, I was really excited, very excited to see my friend, talk to my friend again, and very pleased that he's painting now, and we can collaborate, because that's always fun. Alright, there we go. And I don't do a whole bunch of colors with these, except for if I'm doing a bigger one. I've been expanding my experimentation into the bigger sizes. I want to see how big I can get them. But I'm not going to put just a ton of colors, because to me it gets kind of confusing and garbled. I just think they look better if I keep it more to like 3 or 4 colors, keep it kind of simple. But see, there's air bubbles in that right now, and I'm not going to do anything about them until I blow this out. But then I am going to do something about them. Alright, let's go here. Oops. That was really great. I just stuck my finger right in it. Okay. Oh, another thing is this letting this sit period here. I had in the past not done that long enough. I just set it down there and pretty much picked it right back up and started trying to tilt it. And I learned from watching other people or talking to other people or something that this period of time needs to be a little longer than that. Sometimes it's kind of hard to see when the paint has all moved back into the center. If you can see it moving into the center, then wait, of course, until it's into the center. And if you can't see it moving anymore, which my eyes are bad, and sometimes I can't tell whether it's moving or not, so I just give it an extra couple of minutes if I think it might be still moving. I don't know. You see how this is all moving in unison. I used to have problems where the middle would not move and everything else would move and scrunch up into it. And I remember people saying, oh, don't worry about that, it'll be all right, it'll stretch back out. Bullshit. It doesn't. I think that's really pretty. I think the Craftnique makes a difference in the pop of the colors, their vibrancy, as well as their separation. You know, I don't see any muddiness or they're always very clear to me and just really pop out. But everybody has their own favorite varnish to use with this, I guess. And like I said, I did a lot of work with the polycrylic, and I did some with using polycrylic and Josonnas together. 1 part of each of those, and 3 parts of the untinted base. I have mixed every combination of them that I could think of in all kinds of different ways. And this is the way that Jenn Neil was doing it. This with the 3 parts base, 1 part varnish. And I think I like it best. I may still go back and screw around with it a little bit. Maybe try 1 part Craftnique, 1 part polycrylic to 2 or 3 parts of the paint. But I may just leave it alone because this has been working. And you know, I'm all for experimentation, but at some point you got to leave well enough alone and decide you got a, you know, a pretty good system down. And you know, it just depends. I'm not easily satisfied. I like to keep trying and pushing things. So I'm not gonna do all 3 of these because that's gonna make a really long video, but I am gonna do 2 of them. That's beautiful, I think. I'll do this one quicker. Trying to get this level up here. It is a challenge trying to because it's sitting up my glass. I have a big metal thing underneath it on one side that is a went, like a vise for pulling stained glass lead, big strips of lead for stretching it. And it's about 4 inches tall, and it sits up on one side of this bucket over here and raises it up higher than the other side. And then, I don't know, it's braced up in all kinds of different funky ways, and I don't know what I'm going to end up doing with it. In the end, it's better right now than it has been in a very long time because it was tilted and it was these prongs weren't even, and oh, I was having so much trouble. I have gotten, see, it's running off that direction, so you can tell that it's not straight, but it's better than it was. Progress, 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 not perfection. And this blowing, that just takes practice, and I don't have that very perfected by any stretch of the imagination. I've been a smoker, and my lungs don't work as well as they used to, and I don't know, I just, I blow pretty hard, especially when I'm first blowing into the puddle, just to spread it out real good, and then I try to slack off a little bit. That one a little bit, because see, look at that, there's air bubbles popping on there. And if those things stay on there and they pop when your piece is curing, drying, you got problems. I don't know what happens, because it hasn't happened to me, but I've heard you got problems. So, I know what little holes they can make when you pop them at this stage. I don't want them. Don't want to take a chance with them. I stayed up all night last night working on videos, and I didn't do a lot of, I did some painting, but most of the videos were videos I already had done during this 3-week hiatus without a computer. I was still able to make videos until my phone filled up and wouldn't take anymore, and then I couldn't even make videos. But I stayed up doing that and working on this stained glass piece I've been avoiding for several weeks because I knew it was going to be long and kind of difficult, and I just wasn't in the mood. It's a different mood to paint than it is to do stained glass, and I had not been in the stained glass mood, so I just was kind of screwing around with it. This is beautiful. I find that the lacing is much more intricate with this Craftnique. I think it is. I see a lot more of it, and I think it's just beautiful. I'm just going to stretch it out a little bit. Even though I haven't had problems with crazing, I don't want to tempt fate by leaving too much paint on the canvas. Besides that, you need to stretch those laces out so they look really defined and pretty. At least that's the way I like mine to look. Everybody, you know, personalizes these and, you know, has their own ideas about how they think they look best, you know, and so I just tell you what I think looks best and get you some stuff and figure out what you think looks best. Because I know at first we were all thinking that these were just like so hard, and, you know, they're not. They're totally doable. It just takes practice and persistence and ability to withstand frustration. Alright, let me let y'all get down so y'all can see up close. If I can do that without turning my phone off, I will be doing good. Oh, I did it. Okay, and I'll come back and do a couple more of these later, but I wanted my friend to get to see how we do these. Let me show you up close. Okay. I have to turn off the bright light because the bright light has advantages and disadvantages. It has a huge glare. Alright, see that one now? Let me show you up close. See how intricate the lacing is in the cells? I get more sales when I add the silicone to it. I like doing that. I think I'm going to keep doing it. I don't see any ill effects to it. If I did, I'd quit. That's beautiful. Look at that. All right, here's the second one. Look at that gold. Oh, that gold is pretty. That's that EQUAL 24 karat gold. My go-to gold, my favorite gold in the whole world. And I have no idea what these other colors are. I would tell you if I knew, but they are in unmarked little containers. Look at that. Ooh. And I don't remember the names. I'll do better about that. All right. Thank you all for joining me so much. I love it when you're here. And I was very lonely without y'all. And I'm very grateful that I'm able to be back and you're here too. Everybody, please stay safe. Keep staying and praying. And God bless. Have a good night. Come back and see me.